you could do another load of platforms if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just recording,
Cool.
and we can just go for it. So why don't you?
You've reminded me of that 80s TV show now.
In what way?
Why don't you?
Oh,
Why don't you? Go!
yeah, just switch off your television set and go home. Do something that's boring instead.
It's so funny how those little phrases, there's lying on brains in there until someone touches them.
I loved Why Don't You? And it had such a cool message. Just switch off your television set and go out and do something that's boring instead. I mean, if only we could right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. All right, my friends. So it's recording. So why don't you just introduce who you are and any quick shout outs in terms of your groups and teams, and then I'll hit the random word generator.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm Andy. Hello, everyone. I was Emma's student once. I don't know if you remember, but at least twice you taught me way back in the day. I run Play Connect, which is, I think it was improvisation for people who would never think about doing improvisation. So like if you're shy, nervous, I love you the best. So
that's so cool. And you're down based in Brighton.
That's right, yeah.
Awesome. Right, thank you. Thanks, Andrew. And here we go. I'm going to press the infamous random word generator.
Spin a wheel.
Yeah, spin a wheel and make a sound effect. And the first thingamajig I saw word was cow.
Cow, okay.
Oh, that's what I saw first in my eye line. Cow. So I'm just going to hit the timer. Yeah. And we'll just go for 10 minutes.
Cool. What happens, yeah.
I just got the best thing ever.
You did?
I did.
Oh.
I got first prize down at the farmers market.
Well, you would. You deserve it. You've been training hard for that.
I have. They liked my aubergines, but they preferred my cows, my cattle.
Right. Yeah, you take good care of them.
I do.
You're a kind carer.
I am a kind cower. Thank you for saying that. And I have to say, Dave, I couldn't have done it without you. I mean, I only got one cow and a couple of aubergines, but without your help, I think probably Bella, my prize cow, probably wouldn't have made it.
No, that was a close call. That night, I was happy to be there for you.
I was so glad. I was so glad because you're my closest neighbour, and I couldn't think of anyone else better to help me with Bella. She was stuck in that mud patch for a good few hours before you came, Dave, and I want to thank you. I mean, really, the prize is your prize, really.
My prize? Well, I think that's very kind of you, Jane, but I feel like you're just too kind sometimes, like just giving your prize away like that.
Well, thank you for saying that, Dave. I mean, I like to think of myself as a kind person, and generally I am, but I have to say, I have to let you know something, Dave.
Oh.
I mean, I'm quite a shy person, and I don't really like talking to a lot of people down the village.
No, I know that. That's one of the reasons why we both moved down here. We wouldn't have to talk to people too much.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I have to say, when I started talking to you one day over the low field gate, you know, down the low field.
Yeah, nice and close.
Yeah.
Like we are now.
Yeah.
I like to talk close with you, Jane.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Well, we had a close talk that day when we first talked over the low field fence.
Yes, we did.
And I have to say, ever since then, I wanted to be extra kind to you because I like you.
Oh, well, yeah, you have been. You have been ever so kind. Like, you brought me the cheese, you helped me fix my roof, and you've been round with your cake from last week, and now you're saying you want to give me the prize.
Yeah, I really want to give you that prize because I mean it means the world to me, obviously, because I've never won nothing before in my life. Yeah. But I want to give it to you. And do you want to know what it is?
Yeah, I do.
All right. It's
careful now. Looks heavy.
It's 2 wine goblets, like cows' udders.
Udder goblets?
Yeah, 2 wine goblets in the shape of udders.
Amazing.
They're quite nice, aren't they?
Yeah, look, you can even like drink out the bottom.
Cheeky.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Well, they're yours, Dave, because as you know, I'm teetotal. I don't drink. So, but I know you like a brandy after a long day's work down up on the top field there. Yeah. I know you like to warm your cockles with some brandy. So by all means, you can have them.
Well, I do like to warm my cockles, but there's 2, Jane. Like, right. If you have both, that seems wrong.
Right.
But then if I have both, then that seems wrong as well.
So.
Oh, we have 1 each.
So we could. So are you saying what I think you're saying, which is this is what I think you're saying? Is it true that the rumor in the village, Dave, was that?
Yeah, I don't talk to them much, so I don't hear the rumors. But yeah, tell me.
The rumor in the village was. And I'm sorry if this is painful for you, but the village rumor is that Sheila left you the other week, and so you've got no need of 2 goblets.
Yeah.
But I could have 1, and you could have the other, and I could come over.
We could be other goblet buddies.
Well, maybe more than a buddy.
Yeah, like other goblet best buddies.
Oh, maybe I'm misreading things. I thought perhaps I could be more. I've never been this forward before in my life, Dave, but I have to say you really do stir something in me that I've never felt for a very long time. And when I heard that Sheila had left, I was like, maybe I could be more than a buddy, more than a spare goblet buddy, more like a close companion buddy.
Well, Jane, that would be amazing. Here, have your glass, your Jane goblet, and well, let's drink to that.
Really? You wanna? Yeah. Is that right? Do you really?
Let's go back right now to my place, and I'll get my best non-alcoholic brandy out, and we can drink to that from our other goblets.
Well, you can have brandy if you like, Dave. I'll just have Ribena, my usual.
Oh, let's have Ribena.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you...
Cut back to Dave's place. Oh, well, here we are then. Here's your Ribena. Jane, oh, keep your finger on the bottom. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, and some for me. Oops. Well,
I can't believe you've got such a nice place here, Dave. I didn't imagine it to look like this. I've never been in before. And I thought it would be like I didn't think it would be filled with modern art in the way that it is.
No, well, I have fine tastes. I'm going to go otherwise. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say now that I'm in your house. I'm used to talking to you over the fence on the low field. I've got all shy.
Yeah. Well, let's talk over the sofa. Hang on.
Oh.
Oh. There we go. Oh, it feels a bit more.
Yeah.
Feels more comfy now, right?
Feels a bit more normal now.
Yeah, no normal.
Yeah.
Elbow to elbow.
Elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
Here, Dave, this has really helped me. I don't suppose you've got any sound effects of birdsong, because that would really help to settle my nerves.
Yeah. Of course I have. I've got the whole album. Do you want pine martins or robins or I've got sparrowhawks, eagles. That's a little bit harsh.
It's not our territory, really, is it? I like a good robin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this feels a lot better, more comfortable to lean over the sofa and listen to the birds sing.
Tweet.
That's nice.
There we go, yeah. Yeah. Feels I like to bring you outside indoors.
That's right. I feel comfortable with you now. I do.
Yeah.
Here, Dave.
Yeah, Jane. Oh.
I don't suppose you've got any shit on your on your boots, have you? Like maybe we could just put our shitty muddy boots on.
Yeah, well, I've got a little bucket over here, so we can just get some on.
Right, I'm gonna get my wellies on, and I'm gonna get muddy.
Yeah. Well.
Oh. Yeah. That's it. Oh, it stinks. Oh, that's a right smell, Dave.
That stinks good. You're right.
Oh. It's really. Oh, that's good manure. That is. That's top class manure.
Yeah. I just feel like the closer we are to nature, the
better.
The better.
Here, Dave. I don't suppose you've got any like electric fencing, have you? That we could maybe just like roll on top of the sofa here.
Yeah, sure. Got electric, barbed, those kind of really tall ones that you get on playgrounds, ring fencing.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, I think I went a bit too far with the electric.
Yeah. I feel like we've moved on from that, Jane. I think we've moved beyond electric.
Yeah. It's just me being nervous. It's just me. Yeah. I feel a lot better now. I've got shit on my boots and we're leaning on the sofa and I can hear the birds sing.
Yeah. Well, how about just a little bit of wood for starters?
Yeah, right.
Just a little plank.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah. That's it. Oh, it's better. Yeah. Oh, that's a little bit more stable.
Yeah. So this is nice.
Dave, I'm feeling a bit nervous about saying this.
Yeah.
But do you think, so this is way out of my comfort zone, so I was just wondering, could we just go back to being goblet friends and not like extra special buddies?
I rushed it too far with the bit of wood, didn't I?
No, it's not that. It's just me. Not used to talking to people indoors in other people's houses. I'm not used to intimacy, to be honest.
Well, I could put the electric fence back. Would that help?
Maybe be a
I
barbed,
missed it. Barbed?
barbed wire. Yeah, just like maybe just put some.
Okay. Just
Great. That's it.
okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you feeling more comfortable now, Jane?
Yeah, I think I'd like just to be friends, not extra special friends, because I'm shy.
I feel like we've taken a step back, if anything, Jane.
But don't worry, it's not you, it's me. Don't worry. I tell you what.
How about if I go outside and call in from there?
Oh yeah, right. Try that.
Yeah.
So I'll stay in your living room, barricaded.
So, it's nice having you round.
That's nice to see you, Dave. It's lovely to see you today. It's a nice morning, isn't it?
It is. Glad you like my art.
How do I like what?
My art.
Oh, it's smashing that. It's lovely. It's lovely. Listen, I got half a dozen eggs for you. I could go up back to my farmhouse and get them for you and come down and deliver them. How about that?
Yeah, great.
All right. Great to see you then, Dave, and I'll see you in about half an hour.
See you, Jane.
Bye, Dave. Nice.
Lovely.
See you, buddy. See you, mate.
Bye.
Unseen.
Oh, that turned tragic in the end. Who knew? Who knew where that was going to go?
Oh, I loved those characters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so I thought you were a cow to begin with. You were like, I've won best prize. And I was like, oh, yeah, I was definitely a cow. And then you're like, and I was just going to be a cow too. And go, oh, yes, you definitely did. It's funny that, isn't it? When you like have a different reality going on.
Yeah, I think that inspired my characterization though, like that kind of like loping, kind of slow loping kind of character.
I think, teeth.
Yeah, and the teeth. I can't even remember what I did now, but yeah, I think that was like all inspired by the idea of like the characteristics of a cow and how that, and then that just sort of created this dopey kind of, this really shy woman who couldn't cope with intimacy whatsoever.
Oh, so sweet. And our Dave making all that effort to try and make her feel comfortable. Both of them really trying.
Yeah.
Neither of them succeeding.
You can imagine that if it was a film, like if that was a film, you could, or a series, a season or whatever, you could see that relationship just like they were, you know, coming closer and then backing off and then coming closer, backing off.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where they'd probably do that for like 40 years. And then when they're 70, then they get married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just their whole lives they do that.
100%. Like, they would get together just when like, just be when they, you know, in the last 10 years of their life.
Yeah.
They'd settle down together with their slippers and brandy and Ribena and that was so fun.
Amazing. That was very sweet. I enjoyed that.
Oh, good. Oh, that great call, by the way. It's a great move to just like cut to. I love that. Yeah, cut to.
That was quite nice, wasn't it? It kind of, because we were talking about it and I thought, well, let's just go there.
It was a great move.
And we had to build everything inside.
Yeah, the barricade.
Recreate the situation we were familiar with in the lower field.
Yeah, it was a sweet game. It was great. Oh, that's so nice. So, so tell the world.
The
Um,
world,
uh, uh,
address to the world.
yeah. So, you mentioned before about who, like your sort of teaching company. So, tell us a bit about that.
So around improvisation, the real thing, the headline I think is that I'm like the world's least likely improviser. Like my background is so like nerdy and shy and perfectionist and stuck in my head. And certainly my journey was uh, seeing improv and thinking, wow, that's amazing, but also being completely terrified of it. And that combination of like, I need this and I'm terrified of it. And somehow dragged myself along to classes uh, with a huge amount of effort. And I got such a lot of benefit from that, of reclaiming those parts of myself that I'd shut down because of whatever, you know. And I said, no, I can't do that, and I can't do that. And so, yeah, I really love helping people do the same thing, you know, to reclaim playfulness and courage and being seen and spontaneity. And I'm almost not so bothered about what it looks like as a performance, so much as what people get from doing it. Yeah, so that's my thing. I've got a kind of a therapy background, so it fits quite nicely with that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And that so that led you to forming your company. What's it called?
Play Connect.
Play
Play
Connect.
Connect. So the website is just playconnect.co.uk. Yeah, so I'd done a lot of introductions to improv in more kind of corporate environments. So I've done that for years. But they tended just to be one-offs, which is great, and everyone's really excited and they got lots from it. But it's like, where can we go from there?
Yeah.
So I've just loved so much being able to have a group that, you know, stayed with me for 8 weeks and really worked together, and then do a little show at the end, and that's been so wonderful. Little kind of dream come true for me, really, that wasn't possible before, but now has become possible online. So that's been wonderful.
Yes. Now, how has online changed what your practice and changed what you do and how you reach people and all of that kind of stuff?
I think I can reach individuals much more now. So, like I said before, it'd be more like maybe I'd often be teaching a day about something very serious and important like stress management, and then we'd kind of have an hour slot. I'd sort of negotiate and say, well, I want to do this thing, can I do that? And the HR person would say, yeah, sure, we'll put that in. Whereas now I can actually talk to individual people, you know, who come because they want to. They go, oh yeah, that's me, and they want to come for that reason. So it's often people who feel the same. They're almost like they're not from an actory background or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I feel comfortable there. So,
do you have like different do you think your learners like have different responses, whether if they are improvising in person or improvising online, or does it manifest the same, or do you think it has a different effect?
I am not entirely sure, to be honest. What I've noticed online is, well, first of all, I tend to include lots of movement. So there's a temptation, isn't there, online? You go, oh, it's online, therefore I have to sit down and be at my computer. And I find I encourage people to stand up and move, and just like we were doing then, like use your bodies, and that's such a great, such a lot of discovery in what you can find physically.
Yeah.
So we don't just get in our heads, and it can help keep you loose. So often, even though we are online, we're actually really quite physical. So it's not that much different to being in person.
Yeah. That's great that you managed to achieve that with your learners, because like you're right, because we're on Zoom, like Zoomprov, it's like we just get into this sitting down at the computer mode. Whereas when you're actually improvising in person, you're hardly ever sitting down in improv. Really, so it's quite interesting, and really it's good to kind of hear that in your groups that you are getting people up and moving about and stuff like that. I discover a lot with physicality, like characters, even that, like, I know I was sitting down to begin with, or like that kind of like lolloping, kind of dopey lolloping physicality. That's how I access that character, really. So it's really helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, our brains tend to go where they've already been, is what I find.
Yeah.
And they tend to go in habit.
Yeah.
And it's so helpful to just find a physical movement and then figure out what it means later. You can find a character, or you can do a movement, and then that can be leading you, and then discover something new.
Yeah.
I also work a lot with people who aren't native English speakers. So it's quite nice for them to take some of the pressure off the language. So we do use language, but that's not the only thing, So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 100%. I mean, Viola Spolin, that's how she worked very much with people with English was a second language, and she used a lot of gibberish and a lot of physical games and all of that. And that's how improv as we know it, how it evolved was exactly that.
Yeah, and it's so great, right? You could do a gibberish, like if people don't know, it's like made up language theme. Just you just be doing that, and there's still so much going on. Like anyone watching can see the whole story that's happening with no words whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really great, and it just makes people feel like you're already achieving improv. You're already doing it, and you know what I mean, without having all this pressure of I've got to be funny, I've got to use clever words, blah blah blah. It's just like expressing through gibberish and a physicality means that people are already achieving improv and meaning.
And just a look can be so funny.
Yeah. So true. So how did you so who was your first your first series of like improv teachers?
My teachers were aside from you, Emma, were been hugely influenced by the Maydays. So they're in Brighton, I'm in Brighton, they're brilliant. Go check them out. And I learned almost exclusively from the Maydays for several years, I would say. Liz and Jenny and Jason and John and numerous others patiently, and Heather, just remembered, patiently encouraged me like over and over and over again. And you know what I love about them as well is they really embody the spirit, not just in class, but in their community, in their life, in the way they run their courses, and their whole company works in that way. And so it's so lovely it was so lovely to learn from some people who are not only brilliant improvisers, but also have that whole spirit.
I 100% agree, because of course they were my teachers as well. The Maydays, that's how I first started, as probably a similar time to you actually, maybe. But that I would say so as well. I mean, so many great energy and positivity from individual people within the Maydays. Do you know what I mean? So like them themselves are like really super positive, and their improv is super positive, but that kind of just like bleeds out, doesn't it? If you're taught by a super positive person, I don't know, I think it's quite infectious.
absorb it, don't we?
Absorb, that's the word, yeah.
You know, one of my favourite, like a quote or a saying around teaching, that I might have got from Mark Walsh or from somewhere around that, I'm not sure, but can't remember now, whoever it was, thank you. It was, if you're not embodying what you're teaching, then you're actually teaching something else.
Oh.
I really like that. It's like, yeah. Because you know, you get some people who are a bit like, okay, we're going to have fun now. And they're like, they're saying the words, but they're not actually being it.
Yeah, totally. That's a great phrase.
Yeah, and obviously you teach a lot as well, Emma, and it's, I try and really remember that.
Yeah.
That a huge part of a great class isn't ticking all the boxes and sort of making brilliant comments, but it's like what we bring.
Yeah.
And that infects everybody else.
Yeah.
I need another word for that. Infects. That transmits.
Yeah.
That transmits.
Transmit. There you go. Brilliant.
I've said that twice today. I've said yawning is contagious. I've thought, I'll stop saying that. Like, yawning catches on.
Yeah.
But that transmits, right? Transmits. Other people absorb the vibe.
Yeah. I think the Maydays do that exceptionally well. Certainly. Yeah. And then what happened after that? After you did your initial few years with them, then what?
I've been with them. I've worked with nursery in London and did various kind of genre things. So I did improvised Shakespeare with Rebecca, and some like musical improv. Been various troupes where we've had. We did a musical show with in a group called Broken Guru, and we were really lucky that a woman called Jana Lane was in it, and she's a really talented musician and had loads of instruments. She taught us all how to play.
Wow.
Thing.
Oh, cool.
So it was a bit like being in a band, a bit like doing improv, but in a band as well. So it was like, you know, she just gave us that gift of bringing that talent. So and teaching us how to do simple things.
Yeah.
And did a Charles Dickens troupe for a while as well, which was really nice.
Yeah.
He's just got such a range of characters
to
draw on.
And they're all so bold and broad, and actually thinking about it, that is probably a great sort of like mental model to have for short form performers who are trying to do character more. It's like, just open any Dickens book and pick some character, like look at how broad of brushstrokes and how deep and how stark they are. Like they're so, what's the word, discernible from each other. And I think we know how in improv, when we say make a bold choice, make a bold character choice, or make a bold statement, or whatever it is. I think Dickens is a great model for that. Yeah.
It was great because there's big, or not quite cartoonish, but almost like cartoonish kind of character. Like there's the bad school teacher, and there's the poor angelic boy, and there's the generous fat man, and kind of.
They're sort of archetypal, really, aren't they? They're kind of archetypes, and I think that's a great place to start, actually, for characterization, for improvisers who want to get more confident with character, because not every improviser is an actor and blah blah blah, and they might not know the first thing about it, but they might want to lean into it.
Shakespeare is good for that as well, because they're also like really big. Like, okay, I'm the king.
Let's be royal. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's so true. So who what was I going to say, if you were like giving yourself advice, you were as a beginner, like how long have you been improvising for now?
8 and a bit years now.
8 and a bit years. So yeah, just cast your mind back from where you are now to where you were then. Is there any sort of like just some keystone advice you would give yourself?
practice staying fluid, I think, would be, because I tended to like lock up a lot. Like, oh, I'm doing a scene. I'll be like quite relaxed off stage, and then as soon as on stage, you'll be like, ah, oh, right, I'm doing a scene now. And I just focus on that as the main thing to practice. Like, don't worry, instead of worrying about trying to make a scene good, to practice staying fluid and connected to my scene partner, but also to myself. And start from there, because I find that when you do that, then it's much nicer, and also that's when things start to happen.
I think that's such a great piece of advice, but it's also a great metaphor, that fluidity kind of vibe, because actually that's a physical state, but and a mental state. Like, to be fluid mentally, you know, in terms of being flexible, adaptable, being able to pivot, you know, all of that sort of fluid mindset is as important as like kind of just being more fluid physically, just being more relaxed, you know.
The two go together.
Yeah,
they totally go together. Like, it's really hard to be mentally or emotionally flexible when you're
physically
tight.
Yeah.
And equally, just kind of keeping moving helps open you up.
Yeah.
Why I often, when I'm doing my other work, even like coaching and teaching, I tend to stand up for that reason as well. And for improvising, and if I find myself getting a bit tight, have a little wiggle, like keep things moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, our minds and bodies they're not separate.
Yeah.
No, it's not like a brain on a stick. Improvisation isn't like a brain on a stick. It's could be a whole body thing, even online.
Yeah.
Because it's still your whole body.
Yeah.
And you're still reacting to someone else's body. And that's such a lovely way to work as well.
Yeah.
Way to play.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's that's great advice. That's great. And I think more important than ever now that we are in these Zoom boxes for the foreseeable or whatever, it's like, let's get up and be fluid, even though we're in these boxes.
Yeah. I think for a lot of, so it's kind of nice to find a space. You know, not everyone has space, but if you can find a space, I find that really helpful. And I was reading something the other day that when we were doing things physically more, moving from place to place, then each location had its purpose. So you go to the office and you do your work, and you go to your improv club and you do your improv, and you go to home and you do your cooking or whatever, you see your family. And whereas now everything tends to happen for a lot of people, it's happening in the same place, which gets a bit blurry, a bit mixed. So you might be doing your accounts. Oh, now you're doing your improv class.
Yeah.
And the improv class is finished, and now you're writing your diary, and et cetera. So it can be really nice as well to try and find different spaces.
100%. I think that's where a lot of the Zoom burnout comes from. Like, so many people talk of, like, you know, Zoom fatigue and just a general feeling of like overwhelm or whatever. I mean, that's partly because we are in a pandemic, which is extremely stressful for many people for so many reasons. But I think that not being able to separate out your tasks and locations is like, I personally struggle with that as well. Like, if I'm at home, I am at home all the time. So like, it's really easy for me to like deal with a work issue whilst it's 10 o'clock at night and the TV is on and I should be, you know, kicking back with a beer, and I'm just like, oh, ping, I get, mind you, I do turn my notifications off, but it's like there's no separation between work, play, hobby, rest, stimulation. You know, there's no division.
Yeah, and I think it can be helpful to try to make some.
Yeah.
So like standing up, sitting down,
Yeah.
that's one little division. I know some people have different clothes, like
What?
different activities. Like I have my productive shirt. If I'm going to be really productive, I've got like quite a smart shirt. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do lots of important things today. So I'll put on my productive shirt, and things like that can kind of help.
Yeah. That is so cool that you have different clothes to do different things. That makes total sense to me. I should do
You
that.
would normally, we're both self-employed, aren't we? But people who would work in an office, they would have
Yeah.
probably clothes that they tend to wear in the office, and then they
Yeah.
come home, and that would be a normal thing. And
Would you recommend perhaps barricading halfway down the living room with a sofa and some barbed wire to separate out the home life from the work life?
and you kind of lean on it. Yeah, it's like I'm in the office. I'm in the office. I'll like, come out later.
Don't talk to me. I'm in the office.
Yeah, well, people do that, and it's finding whatever works.
Yeah.
When people talk about Zoom fatigue, my feeling is that there are opportunities to make that better.
Yeah. Mitigate.
By mitigate, fancy word, lady.
Fancy pants.
Make it better, mitigate. There's like through movement, through dance, through having little things that you say to yourself, trying to get stimulation.
Yeah.
Well, like I remember there've been times when I know that I've been my senses have been understimulated.
Yeah.
Like early, like when there was like lockdown in the UK and we weren't supposed to go out more than an hour a day, I really noticed it. And if you look at zoo animals and they've not got enough stimulation, they suffer, they go crazy. They're the same for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all good advice.
Find things like, sorry, I'm like.
You're on one now. You need to write a pamphlet.
I didn't mean to go to
it is all good.
I found that helpful, so I didn't mean to go into a whole piece. Yeah.
Right. It's really great. It's been really great to talk to you and play as well. So nice just to catch up and connect. And it's been a long time. I think it's been 6 years now since I moved away from Brighton. So it's like time just goes, and it's like.
When did you last meet? Was it at the nursery?
Did we not meet in a pub? I came down to see Julia in a play, May Brighton Festival.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I don't know if that was last year or the year before. That's what I don't know.
It must have been last year, so like 15 months or something.
Yeah.
Like
so I did bump into you then. We had a pint.
Yeah.
But before that, it had been years. Yeah, years and years.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yay! Well, we could say goodbye. Oh, we've been recording our little chit chat. So we could just say goodbye to the live recording.
Yes.
Goodbye, world.
Hi, world. Thanks for watching. If you're still here.
Awesome.